you.
We're now turning our attention back to decentralization and we're now focusing on Subsocial. So Subsocial has a web UI that really allows anyone to launch their own decentralized, censorship-resistant social network and also their community. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn to Alex, the CEO, to see what he has to say on the matter.
Hello guys, thank you for inviting to this amazing conference. And I would like to represent Subsocial. It's a social finance protocol on Polkadot. And I'm the founder of this amazing project. So what kind of problems we are trying to solve at Subsocial? So such as we're building social networking protocol, we are obviously targeting problems that we have with Web 2.0 social networks, such as monopolists, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Medium, and so on. And we see several list of problems that we have with these centralized platforms. For example, we see that one of the biggest benefits of social networks is network effects. And these platforms, they monopolize network effects. So we provided tons of our personal data to them and created profiles and follower base and all our content uploaded. But it looks like we don't own it actually. And even if you remember, like several years ago, there were tons of startups building on top of API of centralized social networks. But then centralized social networks, they realized that they don't want to see competitors that can build on top of the API, so they start limiting access to it, rate limiting and all this stuff. So right now, it is almost impossible to build competitive applications. Next thing is for example, unfair monetization. So you can see that on more and more social networks and media platforms, we can have different monetization methods like recurring subscriptions, pay-per-view, sometimes tips. I see like super likes, super chat on YouTube. You can see some monetization on Patreon, but again, it's sort of like limited, and it's designed and implemented by a centralized company, and one company cannot be creative in different ways. They are usually following some kind of vector of the company. And if you compare this to DeFi, what is different with DeFi and why it exploded a couple of years ago? Because there were no one person or company that everyone should go and ask for permission. Like, can we build this monetization? Can we build this type of financial tools? People just did what they wanted to do. They forked each other, added some additional stuff. And this is what I believe we can do with social networking. If we apply finance to social network, and thanks to blockchain, we obviously can do this. Another problem is global censorship. So what it means is that there is such thing like sometimes people don't like what other people say, or one culture doesn't accept things happened in another culture, and this is totally fine. But such as this centralized platforms, they are international, global. It is hard to maintain different cultures or kind of like instances per country, instances. By instance, I mean Twitter, Facebook instances per country, per culture, etc. They're global companies. They have one vector that they develop, and that's it. But and if something is not good in one culture, they usually block it globally, and this means censorship. But in contrast, we could go the route of moderation, where something could be moderated per specific user interface, per specific instance, per culture, per country, etc. And with blockchain, of course, we can have this, because with blockchain we have open shared data, and different people, companies, cultures, countries can build their view interface to all this available data. Next one is algorithm dictatorships. Dictatorship, it means that on all major social networks there is one algorithm to rule them all, and this algorithm is designed to maximize profits of shareholders of this company. So, for example, on major platforms, it makes us spend as much as possible time, because during that time they can show as much as possible advertisement and make money on this. But this method of monetization is very specific to centralized Web 2.0 businesses. But with blockchain, we can have very different monetizations. We can monetize this advertisement, but it's not just one way to monetize. We can have recurring payments, we can have tips, we can have treasuries, we can have inflation, a lot of cool stuff that Web 2.0 platforms could not afford. That's it. That's why we can allow competitive algorithms, and we can allow ourselves to have decentralized marketplace for algorithms. That's why we could see much more interesting competitive algorithms where people can choose what algorithm they want to use. For example, one person could decide, I don't want to see politics. Another person could say like, I want to see memes and funny content, and so on and so forth. And some algorithms could be free but with lower quality. Some algorithms could be a masterpiece, but maybe they will be expensive, like, I don't know, $100 per month, something like this, kind of like Netflix. So imagine like a marketplace on WordPress with plugins, but for social networks, something like that. And of course, such as it's again open and permissionless system, so we can have different social networking apps built on top of this, and it means that in this way we can target such issue like lack of customization, because with Facebook and Twitter, as I mentioned before, we usually have just one app, rule them all, and we cannot choose between different alternatives. So again, what is Subsocial? Subsocial is a social networking platform built on top of blockchain, where the data stored outside of blockchain in such systems like right now we support IPFS, and future planning to add support for alternative storage networks like RV or maybe something else. And this enables us that all this means is that it's underlying layer for social networks. And it features such thing like open shared social graph, as it should be. If you remember, Facebook called the API open graph. And actually, right now it's not so open. It's like kind of something open through rate limiting and limited functionality. But by being built on blockchain and IPFS, we have this open permissionless system, and everything. Every network effect, every connections between people, accounts, groups of people, it's open shared. That's why it's open shared social graph. And it means that all this enables us to build endless number of so-called social Dapps on top of Subsocial, right? So like compare, like on Ethereum, right now we have lots of DeFi apps, like NFT marketplaces, and Subsocial as a blockchain optimized for social networking. People can build social Dapps, right? And plus, a very good feature of Subsocial is that it is part of Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem, and this is a big deal because in Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem we have lots of interesting special blockchains that are targeting some specific needs and niches, like smart contracts. Another blockchain could be targeting privacy, another decentralized identity, decentralized storage, and so on. And by being connected to Kusama through Parachain, we can have this functionality as a native to Subsocial through cross-chain communication. For example, if let's say we have this recurring payment feature where creators can monetize on top of their follower base, and then they want to convert their rewards into stablecoin, and there is Karura blockchain and Kusama that has stable coins, and by being connected to both Subsocial and Karura to Kusama, we can afford to have stable coins, and creators can convert their profits to stable coins. So very big deal. And from the other side, another potential integration could be decentralized identities and credentials from Yield protocol. It's another blockchain project that is connected to Kusama as parachain. So by core features in Subsocial, we have such things like moderation. So people can moderate their personal space on Subsocial. By space, I mean it's synonym to blog, group, channel on other social networks. And in our case, we call it space. It's your personal space on blockchain. And obviously, there should be tools to moderate your personal space, right? So it's not global censorship. We don't have functionality to block anybody globally, but people can block or allow others not appropriate content per their space, right? So it's moderation. Another one, it's roles and permissions. So by this, you can build dynamic roles such as editor, moderator, I don't know, like friend, membership, etc., per your space, per group of spaces, and so on. And such as space owners is account. Space owner is an account, and the account could be a multi-sig account. It means that space is becoming more like DAO. So imagine, like as I mentioned before, space is like a blog or channel group on other today popular social networks. But in our case, they have more. They have DAO features, and we're planning to add much more features in future, like polls and Treasury per space and proposals and membership based on I don't know, social tokens or like NFT, specific NFT collection and so on. So very cool stuff could be added, and it's totally possible. Then very interesting features are on-chain governance for the whole chains and ecosystem treasury. It means that we have tons of big percent of tokens in treasury. Right now it's about 30%. It could be changed maybe in future. And by using this treasury, we can sponsor development of ecosystem through grants, hackathons, bounties, tips, and so on. Not saying about rewarding validators, collators to run the decentralized network, right? And of course, one of the interesting features it's blockchain upgradability. This is possible. So I mean, Subsocial blockchain can be upgradable without forks in a forkless way, because they are building on top of Substrate blockchain framework developed by Parity, and this is the same framework on top of which Polkadot and Kusama and such projects like Akala, BitCountry are built on, right? So we are built on the same framework. Also, to achieve our goals, we developed social primitives. So think like social Legos, social primitives, it's kind of synonyms, and it includes such things like profiles. Profiles is like extended information around blockchain account, because blockchain account is quite a limited thing. It's just some kind of random letters and balance, but in our case, it could have avatar, just bio, and followers, followings, and so on, and plus spaces. Also, there is a module in Substrate called palette. It's called follows. So through follows, you can follow profiles and spaces and vice versa. And then we have posts and votes. Like on a normal social network, you can go to blog and post something, and then have comments under the post. So in our case, we can have the same. And then, as mentioned before, we have roles. For example, right now we have some built-in roles, like anyone, follower. If the account follows the space, then it has this built-in role follower. Then space owner as an account that is the owner of this current space. And then we have dynamic roles such as editor, for example. Editors can post a new post to a particular space. And then via permissions and moderation, you can curate content inside of your space, because in our case, as in other social networks as well, you can have a personal space where only your account can post, and you can have kind of open space, or it's similar to group on Facebook or on Telegram, where other people can post, and you can decide either any follower can post or some selected accounts like editors can post. So our architecture consists of several major building blocks, such as Substrate blockchain framework, then where we store connections, relations, who follows, who created what space, who posted what post in what space, and so on. So it's ownership, membership, transfers, prices if something has a price, right? And then IPFS. IPFS is where we store the content itself. Like, for example, per post there is title, body of the post, or body of the comment, image, avatar. So we store this type of content in IPFS. It's external storage to the blockchain itself. And another very important feature is that you can log in with Web3 keypair. It means like this public-private key pair. Public-private key pair represents your account, represents you. So we don't have email, password, login. We deal only through key pair. So this is an image of our architecture, and pay attention that the most important blocks are these two on the bottom. So it's first a substrate for relations with these modules, as I mentioned before, spaces, posts, ownership, roles, and so on. And then IPFS service for images, text content, and some other extended information. These three things are optional, and they are per app specific, so that such app can have their own database to provide additional user experience improvements to the blockchain, because blockchain is best when storing something like key value pair, like this account has this number of posts, but you cannot have very rich, interesting requests like you can have with SQL databases like Postgres, MySQL, and Oracle, and so on. And this demonstrates, this block on the top demonstrates that anyone can build alternative, endless number of web and mobile applications on top of Subsocial that can include all the functionality that we have, limited, so you can just use some subset of functionality, or you can extend, integrate with anything you want. You can integrate with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Fiat, Stripe, whatever. You can do whatever you want. Nobody can say anything about this. So on Subsocial, your keys, your data. So you really own your content, right? So this is an important thing. And another major part of Subsocial, so we don't call it social protocol, but we rather call it social finance protocol, because such as we are building on top of blockchain, of course we have by default a native token. Also we are planning to add support to multi-token functionality, and so sometimes they are called social tokens, because we are building social networking protocol and having all these tokens. It means that these tokens will be social, right? So it means that creators, creators, brands, companies can create their tokens to monetize their user base, to control membership, to provide different perks and benefits to their followers, and so on and so forth. Also, social finance includes such things like tips, subscriptions, recurring payments, pay-per-view, and the posts on Subsocial are NFTs, so they already have owner. You could transfer them, you could sell them, you could monetize in different ways. This is still work in development in terms of monetization, but posts are already ownable things, right? And the same applies to spaces. So you can own space, you can transfer space, you can in near future issue social tokens per space and then monetize followers. And also we're planning to add support for smart contracts, but I believe we will do it through cross-chain functionality, because there will be there are already some smart contract chains on Kusama and Polkadot, and they will be even new chains that are in development with even more optimized smart contracts. So there is, I believe, right now there is Solidity. We can execute Solidity smart contracts in .Sun ecosystem. Then there is Ink smart contracts. It's smart contracts written in Rust, and there is a third smart contract engine developed by Gear Technology. We have conversation about potential integrations. So yeah, and one more thing about smart contracts. Why is that great? Because through smart contracts we can bring the same level of endless creativity to social networking as we see on DeFi. That's why it's very interesting, intriguing, and important. But we should be very careful because smart contracts have downside because they are not so performant as the native blockchain, right? So they're less performant, and you know this from Ethereum issues, right? Gas fee, and performance. So on Subsocial, you can have user experience that is quite similar to what you have on Web2 platforms, such as personalized feeds based on what spaces, accounts you follow, notifications that notifies about some activities related to your account. For example, somebody subscribed to you, answered to your post, comment, whatever. Then it's search engine optimized. So, for example, we have Subsocial web app that works on top of Subsocial blockchain, and it's a search engine optimized. It's indexed by Google search, and it's for Google bot. It looks like normal web application. And plus, we have full text search, so we can search for content by words, keywords, etc. And this is all possible due to the fact that we subscribe to events on blockchain and we index them in additional database, in Postgres database and Elasticsearch. So it's totally possible to do even other different things. One of the important things is that usually people thinking and worry about is that, you build on blockchain and you have these transactions and transactions cost something. Yes, we know this. We have some very good ideas how to bring fee-less transactions, and this is totally possible for blockchains built on top of Substrate, because with Substrate you can be very creative, innovative, and all the stuff that you cannot have on Ethereum through smart contracts, because smart contracts are very, very, very limited. But sorry. Yes. Okay. So also we're working on a mobile application. We already implemented most of the functionality. Right now we're finishing sending of transactions like follow, like, comment, etc. And I already mentioned that we are going to have this Treasury, on-chain Treasury, through which we will support grants, hackathons, and tips. So we are inviting anyone who wants to build as a new crazy social Dapp, crazy social experiments, contact us. Let's have a conversation, see where we can go, what integrations we can have, what alternative apps we can build. So we're very excited. We are supported by 2 grants from Web3 Foundation. Also, we are part of Substrate Builders Program run by Parity, and we have very notable, respected advisors in our team. So our source code you can find on github.com/DappForce. And it looks like I don't have time for demo, but you can find it at app.subsocial.network. And also we are hiring, we're looking for exceptional technical specialists, non-technical specialists. So please visit subsocial.network/jobs if you're interested to join the social revolution. And you can contact us at subsocial.network/links. Thank you very much. I hope to see you in Web3